Welcome to the Traitors, a Traitors podcast. My name is David Bloomberg, and I'm your host for the second and third episodes of the Traitors US Season 4. If somehow you ended up listening to or watching this episode before the first episode, stop now. Go back, find the podcast or video for episode 1 because we split them up, and we want to make sure that you're all caught up before you do that. Now, I suspect most of you already know me because I am on here fairly regularly. But for those of you who don't, I have been covering reality TV for over 25 years, including over 10 years on podcasts, and before that, online in newspaper columns and on my own reality TV websites. Plus, I post reality TV videos on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, where I'm at David Bloomberg TV. And frankly, I'll talk about the topic anywhere that anyone will listen. One person who can definitely verify that fact is our special guest today. He has not been on the podcast before, but some listeners may know him because he does a lot of coverage of Big Brother US and maybe others. He could tell us about that, and has for a long time. He is also a Bluesky evangelist like me. So welcome, Mike Harrington, aka BB Gossip.
Thank you very much, David. It's good to be here. I got introducing myself a little bit like you. We were talking about this before the show. I've been doing coverage in some version of reality TV for this is I guess 26th year. I mean, it was right when Survivor and Big Brother started is what got me full on into it. I went a little bit heavier on the mainly Big Brother side, but I've watched the other shows. I used to try to cover all the reality shows and talk about them. I talked to you about doing an interview with someone from Outback Jack. I've done all kinds of stuff, but I, due to job and family, I kind of stayed focused on Big Brother. Although when it comes to when I discovered the Traitors, Australia, the first one that was the English speaking one that was out there, I just fell in love with the show, and I've been watching all the versions. As far as Big Brother, other countries, UK and Australia I do enjoy. Canada I've kind of watched, but not so much, which is kind of surprising for some people because that's one that a lot of US Big Brother watchers have glommed on it. But I'm Canada. Just I couldn't. I was just so I get so burned out after US. After you do 100 days of US, it really is draining and burns you out. But you do everything, so you just push through all of that.
Yeah, well, I have never watched Big Brother Canada. I was going to one season, and when a fellow podcaster was supposed to be on the season, and then they pulled a twist with her where it was the fans could vote in her or someone else. It was the angel or devil twist, and she was cast as the devil, and they made her look bad, and the Canadians were like, well, we want the angel. So she didn't even have a chance to play. Yeah. And so I got so mad, I was like, I'm not watching your show.
There you go. Well, you've got enough on your plate as it is. So
yeah. So people can tell, by the perhaps color of our hair, how long we've been covering reality TV here. So you're not going to find too many kids who can say, "Oh, I've been covering it for 25 years." So.
Yes, this is year 26. Don't forget.
I mean, that's true.
We're 2026 now, so we're yes,
that's true.
My kids have grown up and graduated and left all the entire time. That I was covering, they know that I do reality TV. So
yes, same. And it's funny because for like Survivor, I had to be alone. There were no DVRs, there was no streaming.
Sure.
I put it on. I would tape it on VCR, but if I missed something, I would have to wait till the show was over, rewind it to that spot. Because I was typing in the moment recaps as I was doing Survivor. So my little kids were upstairs. They were nowhere near me. And the same was true of Big Brother and stuff. And so they never got into Survivor because of that. And then eventually one did. And they're both into Big Brother. And I think one of them is into Traitors also.
Oh, I have one of my three that is a casual for Big Brother. And the others, I don't think the others don't give a care about reality TV in general. So it's fine, and I'm fine with that. I wouldn't, in some ways, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. I've said this publicly. I almost want Big Brother to end so I can stop covering it, but it's never going to end. It is a cash cow for CBS, so they will just keep it going.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are recording this mere hours after I recorded the podcast for episode 1 with Matthew. So you haven't had a chance to listen to that, obviously.
No.
But coming into these episodes, my prediction was Ian would get murdered. Actually, we both had the same predictions, me and Matthew. We thought that Ian would get murdered as a known dangerous player, and Michael would be banished for being Michael.
Okay.
And I somewhat randomly picked Dorinda as the possible secret traitor, though I had more reasonable ideas it could be Natalie or Jam Jam. And Matthew, he picked a crazy pick. He picked Dolores. So we'll just have to see how those go,
Dolores?
Donna, what did I say?
Okay, you said Dolores, and I was
oh
like,
gosh, I'm flashing back to last season.
Okay, yes. I went looking at my list. I'm like,
Sorry.
Dolores. Wait, where's Dolores?
I'm testing you, actually. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I should note, after watching these episodes, 3 episodes of One Night Peacock, I complained about this last year. I'm going to do it. Stop it. We didn't need 3 episodes tonight.
No.
2 I can understand. So you get the first murder, the first banishment, you get to know people. 3 is too much, especially when you start losing iconic players in those 3. You could have at least stretched it out a little bit and stretched out the discussion of the secret traitor and other things like that. And I mean, this is the most important reason, obviously. I would not have had to stay up till 2 a.m. to put together all my notes for all of this. So come on, Peacock. But with that said, let's get into these 2 episodes. I thought we were going to start at breakfast, but no, we pick up exactly where we left off in the Traitors turret with them debating who to murder. And they talk about the pluses of killing each one. Ian is a smart gamer. Mark would be random. Eric is smart and low key, which would also create confusion. So now we go to breakfast. Did you have any prediction coming into this?
No, I was, as you know, I was at a watch party. It was so hard to focus on the show. So I heard that who was killed before I actually saw it. Someone came out and said, "You're not going to like it," to me, and it was like, oh, well, that means I know it's one of a few select people. Because I will say, just to comment, because this was at the very beginning, and you were already at breakfast. Before they went to breakfast, as they were talking about who to vote for, they had an isolation on Rob R. And he said about the person they were going to murder, they're going to go play blackjack with Jesus. That's what he said. And I just went, what? And I thought, wait a minute. I mean, I knew it. Like, oh, he meant backgammon. Because Ian had been, so he meant to say backgammon, and he said blackjack by accident. And so they left it in. So if you were watching it, but for fresh and you didn't know and you thought about that, why would he say blackjack? It makes so much. He meant to say backgammon. He just messed it up, and they just used it.
I'm glad you explained that, because I was also thinking about that, because I was like, blackjack. Right. I have played blackjack with Rob Sesternino. Boston Rob was also there. Adam Klein was there. They all did better than me, but I was like, blackjack. Why? Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Right. So that is a great catch.
They talked in episode 1 how he was he said I'm a good backgammon player, and so I just thought, oh, that's what he meant. He just struck me as so. We figured it out. So yes, that was kind of a cool little note.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we go to breakfast, and first in are Lisa, Tiffany, Monet, and Caroline. Lisa says being the first one in is iconic. And considering how much she has used that word, both in pregame stuff and already in just the first 2 episodes, I'm pretty sure she's been sponsored by that word and gets paid every time she says it. And I'm sorry, Lisa, you could say it all you want. You're not iconic here, at least not so far. And saying it over and over again won't make it true.
Yeah, I'm not a Lisa fan.
Yeah. Monet talks about how great the breakfast spread looks. Little do they know how bad it is compared to the sponsored hot breakfasts in Canada. So
I didn't pay attention to the foods. So
yeah, I mean, it's something we talk about because it comes up. And the ones in Canada are in this season anyway, because they're sponsored. They've
got the little placards. They've got the placards spread throughout the Canadian one. Yep.
So Caroline asks what happened with Michael, and Tiffany fills her in with the whole scene that happened in the kitchen. Then Portia, Stephen, Kristen, Johnny, and Maura come in next. Then Colton, Natalie, Jam Jam, Candace, and Tara. And so far, it's all the safe people. So, of those in danger, we have Dorinda, who is celebrated and applauded for making it past night one. Plus, we have Donna, Rob, and Ron. And then Donna talks. By the way, when I just say Rob, it is Rob Sesternino. Otherwise, I will say either Traitor Rob or Love Island Rob or Rob R. But,
Okay.
there's only one Rob as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Donna talks about how it's so cool to be around all these celebrities. And I'm like, you're the mom of two huge celebrity who's about to be the mother-in-law of potentially the biggest celebrity on the planet.
Yeah.
And I guess she just doesn't see them that way. I don't know.
No, she says it in later on in this next episode about how she's just starstruck by everybody she's there with. So yeah.
Jam Jam talks across the table to tell Rob he was really worried it would be Rob because Rob was so nervous and quiet. And Rob agrees. He was nervous and worried. And so was I, Rob. So was I. But then Rob tells us it felt like Jam Jam was trying to throw him under the bus. And that is somewhat how it felt to me, too, which causes Rob to wonder, is Jam Jam a traitor? Next in are Eric, Love Island Rob, Mark, and Michael. So that means I was indeed right in my prediction. Another Big Brother great falls early, and I am sad. Sorry, Ian. I
just sucks that can I say I realize you've already talked about episode 1, but I was when we found out it was 2 housewives and Rob, he's Love Island, right? Isn't he? That was it was like, really? That's what we're going with for Traitors. It's like, well, that's one way to get. I thought for sure Love Island, that meant that the housewives were just going to be boom boom out of Traitors. That I just saw. And it to me, it was like, okay, yeah, that's why they're going to go after the gamers. We're all the gamers. Right. The gamers is like, oh my God, we're just, so I was,
they're taking revenge for the previous housewives.
Yeah.
And,
Ian, just too soon.
I understand why the show did it this way, because it is otherwise so predictable. We know there's a gamer there. I mean, we heard Michael say that last time. There's going to be a housewife, there's going to be a gamer.
Yep.
And by doing it this way, they shake it up for future seasons. So people can't come in and say, there's definitely this, there's definitely that. It's kind of like there was another international season where all of the traitors were women.
Yes.
So that in the future, no one can say, oh, there must be a man or there must be a woman. No, you don't know that.
Right.
And so I understand it, but it sucks for the group that's going through it now. It's like you need to make a change to mix things up for later, but those who are going through it now are the ones who pay the price.
Yeah. I will say that I think another reason they did it was because they know they wanted the housewife fandom is the least reality TV game show fan out there. They're bringing them into the fold. Right. The Big Brother fans were watching and will continue to watch. The Survivor fans are going to watch, and even if all the survivors are gone, they will stick with it. So
not according to a lot of the messages I saw after.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm done watching it. Yes, I'm never going to watch Big Brother again when Rachel is voted out. It's like, no, you will. Come on. Yeah. I just think that gamers are going to watch anybody play a game, and also, to be truthful, some of these people that are not gamers are going to be darn good players. I mean, Rob R is going to be a really good player. Colton is going to be a really good player. And there's other ones, and there's some players that they're good. They've just never played a reality game. And once they figure it out, they're going to run through it. So it's unfortunate for the people that were labeled as gamers walking in are immediately targeted. Yeah. It just, so yeah, I miss Ian already.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to see him do much.
Right. Exactly. He shows up to get his murder note and says, I knew it. And adds, I don't know what I could have done differently. And off the top of my head, I don't know that there was, but I will think about it a bit. And discuss any further ideas I have on my first mini Why Blank Lost video for this show, which people can find on my video channels. And I'm experimenting. I'm trying this now. I don't know that it was smart of me to do it on the Traitors US first, because sometimes there aren't as many strategic reasons to discuss on the Traitors
on a
US.
celebrity one.
Yeah. But, we'll give it a shot and see what happens. Part of it is just, I have done it before for like Australian Survivor, and their schedule is similar to the Traitors UK, 3 episodes a week.
Right.
It's hard to keep up with, even with my more or less open schedule. It's just hard to keep up with all that.
Yep.
So the players at breakfast toast Ian, and Tiffany speaks on his behalf, which I immediately worry will put her in danger. She says he came to face his fears and she feels bad for him. And no sooner have I thought that this could put her in danger than Colton starts whispering that this was suspicious.
Yeah.
Alan,
don't say too much.
Yeah. Alan walks in wearing a stunning, shiny silver suit with black speckles. He pulls down Ian's portrait and smashes it on the floor as usual. As other discussions ensue, Tiffany whispers to Lisa, "Somebody here is a traitor." And I'm thinking, you don't say, Tiffany. Really? Meanwhile, Love Island Rob is looking for the secret traitor and focuses on Michael to start. So with that, we leave breakfast and people break into groups and start chatting. And Dorinda says it's so early that they have nothing to go on yet. Portia joins in and says, yeah, she thought it was Ian and he's the one I killed. Which, yes, which Ron immediately notices and files away in his mind. And this is such a big slip of the tongue that for a moment I got my housewives confused. And I was like, I can't believe Portia just revealed herself. And I was like, wait, no, she's not even a traitor.
Yes. Yep, I did too. I was not watching it. The voice came across the screen, and I had to click and rewind to see who it was, because like, who just said that? Yes, because I thought it could have been Candace for a second. I was like, oh no, it wasn't. It was Portia. It's like, why? She just the way she was thinking. She was just thinking. Your words don't come out the same way. I would do something like that. I am 100% sure.
But just let's put a pin in this. What she said was, he's the one I killed.
Yeah.
Because later her words get changed to make them even worse.
Oh, yes.
So
that happened on a couple of different things.
Yes. Elsewhere, Natalie and others talk about Michael because he's just not going to be helpful. Tiffany doesn't think it's him, but rather Donna. Colton notes that she's not talking game to anyone, and Tiffany says only someone who feels safe doesn't feel the need to make connections. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's a possibility. Or, of course, not knowing what the eventual outcome would be, it could just be someone who's not used to playing a game like this. They don't know they have to go to all these people. Then Natalie says when they took off the masks at the round table, her face was lifeless. And I'm like, oh, great. We're going with the usual BS body language reading thing. Yeah. So, of course, other people are going to say, look, they were right. And it's like, okay, yeah, but that doesn't mean it was the right way to go about it. Mm-hmm. Plus, as so often happens in this show, I'm sure there were a million other people with a million other theories and, spouting, oh, well, this person looked like this and this person looked like this. And we just didn't hear it this time. So Colton says everyone is afraid of saying her name because of the Swifties. Now, that's the second time we've heard that so far, and it will continue.
It will.
In another room, Dorinda says they're trying to figure out who they'll vote for tonight. Michael, the supposed superfan, because remember in episode 1, he says, I know this game and da-da-da-da-da. Well, he's like, oh, what? We have to vote someone tonight?
Yes. And what was that?
Yeah, well, someone explains that, yes, it'll be 2 people gone every day from now on. And then Portia says, if we kill a faithful at Banished, 2 faithfuls each day. So the statement doesn't even make sense, but Michael and Donna catch what she says, and it sounds like we kill a faithful was the part that they focused on.
Yes.
And when,
She was just talking about I think she was just talking about
right.
the game as a whole.
Yes.
Meaning, if we as a cast
Right.
kill a faithful and banish someone, that's what she meant. But because she said we kill a faithful,
Yes.
it was of course as you're looking for any reason to
Right.
target somebody else, and that was just like giving a gift.
Yes. And then, so she leaves the room and Ron comes in and then he shares the slip that he heard. So they compare notes and it is already not looking good for her.
Yes.
Now, I already mentioned, and you were already questioning this too. Like I said, Michael was acting like he didn't know how the game works.
Yeah.
I have a general rule of thumb. I've talked about it many times here before, which is that whenever you're in a game like this or Mafia or Werewolf or whatever, if there's a player who is acting like they don't understand the rules, like if you're in a game of Mafia and they're like, wait, how many Mafia are there this time? Are we playing with the doctor? Are we playing with the detective? They're in the Mafia. And the same is often true in this game. And so I find that it is a very good indicator that they're the bad guy and just trying to cover behind it. This has recently happened on the Traitors in other ways. And so this was a red flag for me with Michael right off the bat.
Because we're still watching it. This is the secret traitor bit where it's
Yes.
kind of like I mean, and I know again you've probably talked about it in the first episode, but this whole secret traitor twist, I found it interesting and fun because I was able to play along as I don't know who is it, and so it was. Is Michael the secret traitor, and is he playing dumb? We don't know at this point who it is.
Yeah. The one bad part about playing along with it is we're subject to the edit.
Oh, totally. Yes.
And
but that's
and so we'll talk about this more. We're doing a special episode of the podcast to compare the UK and US versions of the Secret Traitor. And I fell for it in the UK version when they used some editing tricks. I won't say anything more than that, but I was like, well, the way they're doing this edit, it seems like it's definitely this person. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
So anyway, they move on to the mission. And speaking of Michael as a traitor, in the car on the way there, Steven brings up that everyone says it couldn't be Michael because he's too loud. But if anyone would be loud as a traitor, it would be Michael. And for all those saying, no, it couldn't be, I just want to point them back to last season. This is me talking, not Steven. And traitors like, I don't know, Bob the Drag Queen and Boston Rob, I mean, they were incredibly loud as traitors. They got banished pretty quickly, and yet somehow were made podcast hosts out of that, terrible gameplay. But, yes, some traitors are indeed loud. It's a bad idea, but people still do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think a loud faithful or a loud traitor is going to make it to the very end. It's you're going to flame out. But again, these are celebrities playing a game where the money isn't important to them as much as it is having a good time and putting on a good performance. So I think that also weighs into all of this.
Exactly. I mean, some of the housewives in the past, so far not this season, but some of the housewives in the past have clearly been there just to get TV time. They'll talk about, I just wanted to wear my dress. I just wanted to wear my outfit. Even Dorinda last time was so mad that she tried to take over. I mean, she tried to take over the reunion and be like, I want my screen time. And it's like, no, go away. And then they brought her back and rewarded her for it. But so far, she's been much less annoying. I will say that. But all of the housewives have. I haven't seen in these 3 episodes, I have not seen any of those types of things. And they, at least most of them, seem to understand how to play the game. I think someone said, Maura at one point said she barely watched any of the show before coming on. I could be wrong about that. So, but I think someone said that, and there may have been 1 or 2 others who said something similar. But yeah, at least most of them seem to have an idea what they're doing.
They seem, yep.
So Donna tells us she's just forming relationships with people she believes she can trust. Travis was in a show with Ron, so she knows he's a good guy. Jam Jam says in his car that at this point in the game, you have to prioritize a shield over money. And he's absolutely right. I wouldn't even say at this point in the game. I would say at every point in the game, because you can't win the money if you get murdered. And of course, for him, it's even more important because he won Survivor and he just saw the Big Brother winner get murdered. So, yeah, I'd be worried. They arrive at the location to find 3 thrones on wheels, which this is familiar to those of us who have seen the Traitors UK. Players have to roll the thrones back to the castle, stopping at 3 places where they can find and collect gold. But the thrones are also shields. Anyone in the throne when they get back to the castle will be shielded from murder. But there are 2 shield tokens at each stop, and anyone who finds one can swap places with someone on the throne. However, if they don't make it back to the castle within 45 minutes, nobody gets anything. And unlike the way it's usually done, Alan will not be shouting out the remaining time.
Do you think that made a difference? Was that is that just
I think it did because at a couple stops they didn't get all the money because they were worried about how much time was left.
They ended up short just a little bit, but I found that an interesting. I noted that twist too, that they said you're not going to have a timer, and so that led initially for Tiffany to say, "I'll keep track of time."
Right.
Right. You haven't probably gotten that quite yet.
So Candace, Tiffany, and Caroline start on the thrones because they are the lightest and easiest to push. Alan gets his own throne for himself and Lala to go back, saying, "Later, taters." And this is particularly funny to people who regularly listen to this podcast because Matthew uses "later, traitors" as his sign-off. And frequent guest Magicer has added a quip about taters to what Matthew says whenever they're both on together. So for Alan to say "later, taters," it was just a funny coincidence.
Or was it?
Ooh, yes, maybe. Well, I have to say it was because this was filmed before Magicer started adding in.
All right, that's true.
Parts, so unfortunately, so they get to the first stop. They collect all the money, and Monet gets a token, but hands it over to Lisa instead. Steven finds one and hands it off to Dorinda because both are thinking they want lighter women there instead. And I'm like, what are you doing? But okay. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I can't. That's the whole thing. This Big Brother USA, and I'm going to call it celebrity version. It doesn't follow logic near as much as other places.
Traitors, you mean?
Oh, it's yes, Traitors. Sorry. That's going to happen.
For a minute, I thought you were talking about,
No, I meant Traitors. I even the celebrity version of UK that just aired recently, that cast seemed more strategic in their gameplay than the US versions.
They were all gamers, and I don't think that they got paid the kind of money to show up that these people did.
Right. Yep.
At the second stop, they find most of the money, and Steven finds another token, which he hands off to Caroline. Maura finds a token and keeps it herself. Tiffany has been keeping time, as you mentioned, and is fairly close to the actual time, but it starts to underestimate by the end of this stop. And I realize I haven't seen Donna at all once they started this mission, and I never do. So I have to think she was like medically exempted from it because I can't see her pushing one of these things up a hill.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that she wasn't on it, but I wasn't watching super closely. But okay, possibly.
So it's just interesting they don't say anything. She's just not there, and I guess we either notice or we don't.
Well, and they were on a time, and again, on another version of this, there was someone who got really tired and kind of had to slow down, and they kind of had to wait, which added to the pressure. We're not going to get this completed in time, so I guess it's possible with this tight time schedule, they didn't want to take the chance of them not completing it.
Right.
So I get it.
Or of them killing Donna Kelsey.
Because we've got to be careful about the Swifties. Don't upset the Swifties, so don't kill her future mother-in-law.
All right, they get to the third stop, and Colton finds a shield. He's trying to decide who to take off the throne and says it feels like giving out a rose, except I guess it's kind of the opposite of giving out a rose. He takes off Lisa rather than Maura or Caroline. Love Island Rob finds the other token, but then Jam Jam gives him puppy dog eyes, so he hands it over. Maura begs to keep her seat while Jam Jam hems and haws, and then Michael starts coming around asking for a shield. So Jam Jam immediately drops it into the slot and says, "Oh, sorry, it's already in there." Uh, Michael then complains to us that he thought everyone would get a chance to explain why they should get a shield. And I'm like, no, you want a shield? Find it your damn self.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess look at Rob with puppy dog eyes, but somehow I don't think that would have worked for Michael.
No.
Meanwhile, Maura is mad and doesn't think Jam Jam's reason is good enough. And I'm like, really? One reality show winner was murdered, and you don't think being another reality show winner is a good reason to want a shield? Yeah, you're wrong about that, Maura. So they head out from the last stop and make it to the castle, where Alan tells them they had 10 minutes left. And they added 22,500 to the pot. Plus, Jam Jam, Caroline, and Colton got shields, of course. And then Michael brings up again how he doesn't understand how they decided who got shields. And to me, this is very interesting because in the UK version, there was none of this nonsense. If you found a shield token, you got a shield, period. You know, Jam Jam clearly isn't happy and tells us Michael made a big deal about it and says, let us play. It's not about you. Literal traitor behavior. Meanwhile, Michael says Jam Jam was very defensive. And I'm like, well, you were very offensive. So what other option did he have?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's just
Michael. He's, yeah. I have it later on written down at some point. Michael's just a horrible. Either at this point, you know, we don't know. He's either a horrible faithful or he's the secret traitor just looking to stir up stuff because he knows he can't be murdered. I get it. It's don't play the game this way if you ever are on the show. This is not going to. You are not going to last very long if you are this disruptive.
Yeah. So after the mission, they're eating dinner and talking. Donna is asked who she thinks, and she says she doesn't know. It's too soon to tell. Monet is unimpressed and thinks it's shady, but Donna does think it's Portia and just didn't want to say anything. Ron is on her side. In the kitchen, three housewives and Tara discuss Donna. Dorinda defends her and says she's with a bunch of people she doesn't know, and again, the Swiftie thing scares her. Michael tells Colton and Steven that he knows his name is going to be out there. Colton says Donna is the other because she doesn't talk game at all. And Michael tells them they'll see him fight and go hard as a faithful. Rob and Portia don't think Michael is a traitor, and Rob brings up the next level traitor thing again that he brought up in the first episode. Love Island Rob points out he is a professional actor, so it's possible. And Portia says, there's four of them, right? There's at least four. But she says it with such certainty that it raises another red flag with Ron. She just cannot stop putting her foot in her mouth.
No. I can't. I thought about that though when she said it, and I thought, if I was on there, wouldn't I be saying, well, last season there was four, and the season before there were three, so there's probably three or four. I just think, I do wonder if that particular comment, if I can't believe nobody else was saying the same thing, but because of the way things go, they just focused on that because it was another nail to put in Portia's coffin.
And they may have said it more like you said it. Well, last season there were this many that where she just said it as a fact.
There's four.
There are four.
Yeah, there are four.
And I was like, really?
I was like, there usually aren't four. There's usually three.
Right.
Every once in a while there's four. So yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it may be that she only watched last season, so to her there are four. You know.
Right.
So, round table time. After a pause of silence, a rather long pause, at least the way it was edited, Natalie starts off by saying she has a gut feeling about Donna. She doesn't know her, but she saw the stress in her face after taking off her blindfold and has been stressed since then. Donna says she doesn't like to barge into conversation. She's not attached to anyone else and is all alone. She's low-hanging fruit. And Natalie correctly points out that low-hanging fruit doesn't mean she's not a traitor. Yep. It's very similar to Jericho in the Traitors Canada saying, the obvious choice sometimes is the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
Ron brings up the Portia evidence. Now, I don't need to repeat it all, as we've already discussed it, but as I mentioned, he does get some of the wording wrong because he claims Portia said, when I murdered Ian last night, which isn't what she said.
Was this Michael you just said?
What did I say?
I don't know. I have
Ron was the one who brought it up.
I have written down. Michael goes off on the shield saying, "We got rid of Ian." And
Oh,
suddenly
that's
somebody's,
later. That's still a
oh, I'm
little bit
ahead.
later, I think.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'll be
That's
quiet.
okay. I sometimes do the same thing. If I don't take specific notes, I jump ahead.
My
Nothing
notes jump
happened, but
around, so I jumped up.
yeah.
You carry on. Carry
Okay.
on, David. I'll be quiet.
No, it was, she said, or Ron says, Portia said, when I murdered Ian last
Yes.
night,
Right.
which she didn't actually say the word
No.
murdered.
Yep.
But he gets enough of the general idea across. Portia says she's not a traitor and probably misspoke. She's trying to figure out the game and put her mind in the mind of a traitor and what they do. She doesn't remember the Ian comment, but Michael and Donna do say they heard it. And she says, well, I misspoke then. And Natalie says, well, I haven't misspoken because I'm not going back and forth about which card I'm playing in the moment, faithful or traitor. And Tara says, it's easy to be a faithful and talk like a faithful. Candace defends her a bit and says, well, it's easy to have slips. And I'm like, yeah, but that many? I mean, we counted at least 3 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And, Candace adds she knows Portia and has a habit of saying things that she may misremember. But this isn't misremembering. This is saying something that, yeah.
I found that interesting. That to me was a moment of a housewife, a traitor, right? Candace is a traitor, and she knows that Portia's in trouble. And I think that this was Candace partially defending a housewife, but also if I was Candace as a traitor, okay, I know how much trouble Portia is. Portia's in deep water. She's going to go no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can keep her around for at least one more, because this is another. As a traitor, you would always be looking for an easy person to throw under the bus. So if she can keep Portia safe for one more table, that's one more that she isn't going to be at risk. So that's why I thought she was trying to save Portia.
Well, and also, it's always good if you know a faithful is about to get banished,
right?
And you defend them, and then they get banished. You could be like, "See, I told you. I knew they were faithful."
Yep. I knew they weren't, and I was right.
Yeah.
And so yes, that's the other angle of it. So there's multiple, but I did find it. Watching Candace kind of jump in to defend her, I just kind of thought, oh, okay, I see what you're doing.
And I think the housewives expect each other to defend each other, which we find out after the result of this vote. So Candace turns it back to Donna and says she'd make a good traitor. Donna says, so would you. You're very likable and talkative. Ron jumps in to defend Donna, and then he notes that he brought forward 3 pieces of evidence. Does anyone else have that? This is where Michael brings up the shield crap again, as Jam rolls his eyes. As Michael talks about it, he says, we got rid of Ian.
Yes.
Which is similar to saying, you killed him. And several people are like, why'd you say we?
And they flipped it. They did say, he said, this is where my note was. He says, we got rid of Ian, suddenly became when we killed Ian or Ian. That was like, that's not what he said, but that is what they flipped it to very quickly.
It very quickly happens. And the thing is, when you're in a situation like this, I've talked about this before. If you're in the heat of the moment, sometimes you don't remember what you said. So I could see Michael going off and not remembering what he had said, and all these people are saying it back, and you're like, okay, I guess I said that. I've had that happen. I had it happen. I've mentioned this, I think, on this podcast before. When I would testify at hearings, there was one consultant who was just a lying sack of potatoes, and I got so mad at him. And I was seeing red. I was just ripping him apart to the point that my lawyer and friend was in my ear saying, calm down, calm down, calm down. And I didn't till I got warned by the hearing officer. But I didn't remember. I had to go look at the transcript later to see what I had said because it was just, I was so hot. And so, it happens. And then, so everybody is pretty much jumping in to agree. He keeps trying to get out of it, but it's not working. And I think what he said was what you mentioned earlier. We as a whole got rid of Ian. The entire group is what
we're the cast. The cast got rid of the cast, including the traitors and us as a group. That's what it is.
The problem is when it comes to a murder, it's not the whole cast that got rid of someone.
You can't talk that way. You cannot talk as a cast or as a show. You have to. It's traitors versus faithful very clearly.
So Maura speaks for so many people worldwide as she says, maybe just stop talking. So Eric tells Michael he may not realize it, but if he's faithful, every time he speaks, he throws them all off. Like the Jam Jam thing didn't affect him at all. It was not useful information. Monet and others continue to jump on him with what he said about Ian. Michael says if he gets voted out, he's going to quote himself, and Jam Jam says, great, let's do it and see what he says, which I love that answer. Okay, let's find out. Meanwhile, Ron is seeing things getting away from his target and encourages people to stick with him. Michael keeps yelling while people have side conversations. He says they should be voting out traitors, not loudmouths and people you don't like. And Jam Jam notes there are also loudmouth traitors, and he might be one of them. With that, it's time to vote. Donna votes Portia. Eric votes Portia. Monet votes Michael. Candace votes Donna. Johnny votes Donna. Kristen votes Donna. Tiffany votes Michael. Jam Jam votes Micah. Dorinda votes Donna. Michael votes Portia. Natalie votes Donna. Rob R votes Portia. Mark votes Portia. Portia votes Donna. Rob C votes Michael, which is interesting because remember he had said before that he didn't think it was Michael. And he says, you're either the boldest traitor that the game has ever seen, or you're holding back some of the discussions that we need to have here.
And that's, I think that latter argument was the good one. It's like, I'm just voting on a bad faithful. I just, I can't, he does. He's so disruptive.
Yeah. Tara votes Donna. Stephen votes Portia. Caroline votes Donna. Ron votes Portia. Maura votes Portia. Lisa votes Portia. That's the surprising one. And Colton votes Portia. So the housewives, except for Lisa, stuck together and tried to save her. Now, looking at who voted for Michael, it was the gamers other than Natalie, because I pretty much consider Monet a gamer at this point.
Sure.
So, Portia goes to the Circle of Truth and says, of course, she's a faithful. Many of them are shocked, with others saying, we knew it.
There's a moment that I noted at this point that there's a couple of, they do, shots of the different people and reaction shots and all that. There's a reaction shot there that if you're interested to go back and watch, you should go back and check it out, because that's where I wrote down who I thought the secret traitor was based on their reactions. And,
so what was the reaction shot?
Well, do you want me, are we okay spoiling who the secret traitor is?
I mean, if someone's made it halfway into this podcast, they have to have watched episode 2.
They show Donna with a little bit of a smile on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down, I think it may be Donna. There was a shot of Donna after it was announced that Portia was out, and it went to her, and then she just looked a bit satisfied, like, I made it, which of course is what she was trying to do. So that was a logical one, but it caught me enough to say, I wrote down, I think it may be Donna.
See, I just thought, she was happy to have made it. That's what I thought.
And again, I was just looking for anything that could be a clue, and it could have been Michael as well. But part of it thought it needs to be Donna, because it's just not who anybody's going to expect.
Yeah.
So
this was a hell of an initial roundtable. Rarely has there been so much actual evidence presented. Normally, it's something stupid like Natalie mentioned about Donna's face after she took off the mask, and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon. Now, of course, the problem was that the evidence was simply because Portia screwed up. It was false evidence, and Portia kind of framed herself in that.
She did. She literally dug her own grave.
Yes.
And filled it in.
Yeah. So after the roundtable, the players break up, and there's a lot of discussion about Ron leading them the wrong direction, so he must be a traitor. And of course, a lot of it comes from Candace, who obviously has her own reasons, but also Dorinda and Caroline, who think Lisa's vote was fishy as well. Although I think that's the last time we hear about that. They mentioned it, and then it's gone. Meanwhile, Rob tells Donna she did a good thing, or a good job. And I'm like, trying to get an invite to that Kelsey Swift wedding. I see what you're doing there, Rob. Others join in supporting her as well. And, she's saying she's fans of a lot of people there and doesn't feel worthy. And then casually drops that she did the same thing with Paul McCartney at the Super Bowl, which everybody's like, oh, yeah, just drop that name. Okay.
Yes.
So tonight's murder, we find out, will be in plain sight. The 3 known traitors get notes saying in the kitchen there are tarot cards hidden behind a portrait that represents the players the secret traitor has shortlisted. They have to find the cards and discuss, then burn the card in the breakfast room. If successful, they will be united with the secret traitor tomorrow. And if not, they won't meet them. There will be no murder, and they will have no control over tomorrow's murder. So, yeah, this is like ending very quickly here.
Which I I'm like, was there any chance that they weren't going to complete this task?
There's always a chance.
Has there ever been a task on the traders that they've been given that they haven't completed? I can't think of one, at least in
Not
the
in an
English
English
speaking.
speaking version
That's
that
what I was
I'm
saying. Not in the
aware
English
of.
speaking version that I'm aware of. I know that it may have happened in non English, but
Yeah.
I've barely scratched that surface, so I haven't had a chance. But
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of like it's and you've talked about this before, and it even happens in the next episode where you have these moments of, oh my gosh, are they going to get caught? Whatever they're doing.
Right.
Um, and it's like we're like, yeah, this is all editing. There was never a
Yeah.
chance they were going to get caught, but they make it seem like it. And so that's how
There
anytime
is
these things are presented, I'm just like, oh, they're not going to get caught.
there is one non-English speaking version that it looks the same and they do get caught.
Oh,
And it
that's
changes
awesome.
the game. It changes the game.
Yes.
And as watching it, I was like, oh, that's obviously editing. There's no way that this person is outside the room and overhearing them. Oh, yeah,
Ah,
they did. Yeah, they
okay.
did. So,
Okay. Yep. Yep. Well, good.
um, so, uh, obviously handling the secret trader twist differently here than they did in the UK.
Right.
And we'll talk about that more in that special podcast.
I know it's tough.
Yeah.
You don't want to
just don't
spoil
want
things,
to.
but
Right.
it just, but in this case, in the UK version, which this isn't, it was less. They didn't say, they did say, I guess they're getting you in the UK version, they didn't say you will meet.
Mm-hmm.
They said you will meet him if you complete the task, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused. This was almost a guarantee that they knew that if they completed. So I was like, oh, we're gonna see who it is. I'm happy and unhappy that we got to see who it was before.
I mean, I figured it would be a cliffhanger for the end of episode 3.
So did I. Yep. And which is,
probably,
I think,
likely that was the plan.
Gone.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So Candace says they're being tasked with pulling off the greatest murder in Traitors history. And I'm like, no, it's not even that hard. You don't even have to go up to the person. You're sneaking around behind their back.
Yes.
So, yeah. Sorry, Candace, you're exaggerating as much as Lisa is with all her iconic talk. Though there are a number of people in the kitchen talking, Candace tells Lisa to distract them and pull them away. She can't, so Candace is trying to come up with a way to do it and decides on a conga line. Da, 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 da. Hey, da, 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 da. Hey, that is not suspicious at all.
There's no music. Why are we doing this? Because what, production will love it if we do it. I mean, I'm thinking she'll like, look, the producers will love it if we do it. They can use it in the opening credits, and they can show us like, this is not what this show's about. Why would we show traders doing a conga line?
And indeed, Rob immediately feels like something is off. He clocks it for what it is, a distraction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And tells Tiffany he worries it could be a murder in plain sight. So he says, don't let them get near you. No kissing or hugging or drinking out of a glass that they give you, anything like that. So he's on top of it. Yeah. Meanwhile, Love Island Rob appears to get pulled into the conga line last, but then pulls away and he's like, I'm not doing this. But he ducks back into the kitchen where nobody is still there and grabs the cards.
Yes.
The cards are Monet, Rob C., Tara, and Kristen. And I'm like, no, it would really suck if Rob picked up on what was going to happen, but still gets murdered in plain sight without any way to stop it. Mm-hmm. So I was annoyed. Not nearly as annoyed as later. But after the conga line, Love Island Rob offers to teach Lisa how to play chess so they can talk without anyone watching. Except Tara does start to watch till she gets bored. Now, this is one thing I didn't immediately think of, but it was mentioned, I think by Rob himself, but I can't remember for sure, on the official Peacock podcast. Like, you only have a very limited time to talk to people in these situations. And you're playing chess? Really? This isn't Big Brother, where you have literally all day to the point where, yes, people do play chess to pass the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was an odd thing for them to do.
It should have been a red flag.
Yeah.
That they were sitting there quietly not doing anything. Yeah. but it's so easy for us to know.
Right.
To know, it's you don't know that there weren't two other people sitting in the billiard room. There wasn't one person playing billiards by
Right.
themselves. We just don't know.
Right.
This is where my Big Brother versus every other reality show comes. It's like we don't see what's going on. We don't know the edit, so I just don't know. And
Yeah.
I didn't think what I mean. Rob pointed it out, but yeah, I didn't think about it other than what's a good reason to kind of get isolated.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Rob tells Mark and Candace about his concerns, and I'm like, not Candace, not Candace. Why did you tell Candace? And at first, I thought he must not have realized she was the one who started the conga line. But then he brings it up,
And he
and
points it out to her.
I'm like, did he just now realize he made a mistake by telling her, or is he trying to downplay it? I don't know. The other two finish their chess game and have come to a decision, but Candace knows nothing about it. The two of them go into the breakfast room and light a card on fire with a candle and then throw it into the fireplace, which is funny because Candace was making such a big deal. How am I going to burn it? I don't know how to start a fire. It's like, come on, Candace. Obviously, they're going to have a fire there for you.
I'm not an arsonist.
Yeah, yeah. They're not going to have flint and steel or two sticks for you to rub together. And Candace walks in right after they're done, has no idea who it was. And at least I'm thinking at this moment, well, what Rob said did not come back to bite him because Candace never had a chance to compare notes with them. So at least he didn't make a mistake. We know that. And I didn't have any predictions for episode 3 as I was watching this because I was too worried. So let's just jump right into episode 3 at this point. It is breakfast. Unless you had anything more for episode 2.
No. I did have one thought. I have two things I'll throw in. I get very into the minutia of some of these things. So just jump back to the vote. Right before they did the vote, right after Alan said it's time to vote, there was a wide shot like the one that's behind you of the thing. And if you watch it, Michael reaches over to Dorinda's and takes her water glass and drinks it. I just thought that was hilarious. Just like that's how bored. He's like, I need a drink of your water too.
Yeah.
So that's just a little tiny side thing that you did see it too. I caught it.
Yes.
Like, did that happen? And the other thing was when Rob R, I thought, really, you're gonna, and even anyone who's ever burned a piece of paper in a room, the whole room smells like burned paper.
Right.
So I think that was a bit staged, and they didn't let people go in that room afterward. I don't think they were in danger of getting caught. I just think they were just like the card. I mean, obviously got the camera angle of him holding it over the candle. So this is all just me, pulling back on the production, going like it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors here. That's what you're seeing. So it just those are my only thoughts. I unfortunately or fortunately knew before I watched the episode, because again I was at a premiere party and I didn't even watch these, but people were coming out and saying now this happened. I was like, oh my god, no. So yes, I was not happy with these episodes.
It is interesting because, like, at one point, one of them says, and maybe it's in episode 3, where one of them says, anyone could have walked into that room. It's the breakfast room. They go in there for breakfast. We almost never see people gather in the breakfast room.
Right. Yes, that's true.
So that is the safest room. Yes, they had to get the tarot cards out of the kitchen, which is a very well-used room.
Right.
But the burning, almost nobody goes into the breakfast room.
No.
So at breakfast, when they're in the breakfast room, which apparently doesn't smell like smoke anymore, or paper smoke. First in are Colton, Caroline, and Jam Jam, the 3 people with shields. Caroline is sure Ron is a traitor for the way that he pushed Portia. Colton is confused because he told Michael it was between him and Donna, but Michael still wrote Portia's name down. And which, from a strategy perspective, if you believe it's between you and one other person, you should vote for that other person so that, you don't lose by 1 vote, which happens. And so, although in Michael's defense, which is not a series of words I want to use very often, I think he could tell that it was headed towards Portia, and he was part of the evidence gathering of that one. Right. So I can see why he did that. Jam Jam thinks Portia being a target was traitors protecting traitors. And Jam Jam really thinks that Michael is a traitor. Next in are Candace, Doris, Mark,
Donna.
Why do I have I okay, you could tell it was like 1:30 in the morning when I was typing this. The actual name that I have written is Dories. It doesn't match any name. I was like, what is going on here? Yes.
What could be Dorinda? There's Donna and Dorinda.
I have Mark, Johnny, and Dorinda, plus Doris, who doesn't exist. I don't know where I got that from. Again, this was 1:30 in the morning. That's the only excuse I have.
Yep.
Candace brings up what Ron did at the round table and says he didn't share it with anyone ahead of time. And Doris said, well, yes, he did, a few of us. Next are Natalie, Maura, Ron, Tiffany, and Michael. Jam Jam says, big surprise, Michael's here. And I have to laugh, even though it's obvious there's no way the Traitors would ever murder him with the way he's been acting. So, but, I just like Jam Jam's reactions to Michael. So, Tiffany tells Michael that she was afraid if she didn't vote Michael, Jam Jam was going to kill her. And Michael tells us he thinks Jam Jam is a traitor. Steven, Love Island Rob, and Eric come in. And then finally, Monet, Lisa, Kristen, and Tara. And the whole world yells, no! And I know, not quite the whole world, but a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, flashback to that. Was there a big shout of no at the party?
Again, there was two different groups of people watching the show on a 15-minute delay between the two. It was what I remember of it is someone came up to me and said, I think Rob is gone, and I don't know how he went. Like it was something weird. That was how it was. So just so crazy there. It was a great time, but it was just crazy. And all I heard was, well, Rob's gone. Matter of fact, I only knew when I started watching this morning, I only knew that Rob and Ian were the two people that were gone. That's all I knew until I started watching. I didn't even know about Portia or any of the other stuff. So yeah, it just was 3 episodes to go. 3 episodes dropping the first night, just too much. They could have stretched it out a little bit longer.
Yes, they definitely could have. Now I heard that I obviously wasn't watching live streams since I was taking notes, but I heard that, so there was an RHAP live stream with Chappelle. There was, Puya had his own live stream going.
There you go. Yeah.
And, oh my gosh, help me out here. Corey Wurtenberger was doing a live stream too. And so I heard there were very, very different reactions. That Puya was obviously upset, but tried to keep it together. Chappelle just lost it, which totally Chappelle. And that I heard Corey just turned off the live stream at that point.
Wow.
So
everybody was sitting in a chat room with Corey, and he just said, "That's it. Show's over, folks."
Apparently,
he actually quit. He actually quit the Traitors. I'm done with it. It's like, what? No, you can't do that. Oh gosh.
Apparently, what happened?
It goes back to the going out. They really went after the gamers hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't talked about it. I mean, so we're right there. You can talk about, because I'm sure you're going to talk about Rob's reaction, and the flashback that they did showing. So I have thoughts after you get through that.
Okay. So yes, we flash back to last night. Rob was still keeping an eye on things for a murder in plain sight, but Traitor Rob suggests him to Lisa, telling us the longer he stays in the game, the greater the risk they have of being discovered. Rob knows what he's doing, and he voted for Michael, which also helps with the frame job. So Rob comes in to get his murder note, and as he walks in, he looks absolutely crestfallen. He knows. The note even says they murdered him in plain sight, and he says he knew it was happening. And I said it a few minutes ago, which I wrote at the time, in the moment. It would suck if Rob picked up on exactly what was going on, but still got murdered in plain sight without any way to stop it. And that's the thing. He knew to protect himself. Don't let anyone do this. Don't let anyone do that. But this was a weak murder in plain sight, because they didn't have to actually do anything that indicated they were near the person.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, look at Celebrity Traitors UK. Those were some good murder in plain sights.
Mm-hmm.
Murders in plain sight, I guess. Where they actually had to, interact directly with the person. And
Right.
you know, if they had tried to do that with Rob, he'd have gotten out of there. I mean, at one point he said a line. He said to Tiffany something like, "Conga line is coming, hide." You know.
Didn't think about that. If you're the fourth person in the conga line, you're the one
Yeah.
who gets murdered.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I heard him, do an interview on the official podcast, and see, that's why you only need to listen to this one. I give you the bits and pieces you need, and you don't have to listen to the other people. But Rob said, yeah, the same thing basically. There was nothing I could do to stop it. I knew about it, but that was the frustrating part. So I'm sure, especially in the moment, he was like, how could I be murdered in plain sight when I didn't do any of the things? But so, yeah, he even in the moment there, he wonders how they got him. But yeah, there was nothing he could do. And I'm just glad. I was just going to say, I'm just glad he didn't accidentally cause it by mentioning the idea to Candace. So, he that part's good. He says he leaves with no regrets and he'll get the traitors next time.
Yeah, and when he said I'll get you next time, he was really choked up. He literally, I could hear the catch in his voice and I could feel the emotion. I mean, the poor guy, he looked like a deer in the not a deer in the headlights, but he just looked the whole time, the whole episodes that he was scared, waiting for something to happen. Like he was it was not, I don't, as much as he's a reality TV expert and he's done so much, going back to his Survivor days, he's not the same person he was during those times. And now he's a much bigger personality.
Right.
And so he was just there for the taking. And there's no way they were going to let him go. And they showed in the flashback, as you mentioned, that was basically Rob R. that did that. He told Lisa, I think we got to do Rob. And she says, okay. And of course, Candace had absolutely no part of the decision. So that was Rob's doing. And when I saw the cast, when they did the intros and stuff, I saw Rob and I just went, that guy is going, if he's a traitor, he's going to be a force to reckon with. And I still think going forward, he is going to be a force to reckon with. I think he's going to run that turret as long as he's in it. So yeah, Rob, there was nothing that Rob could do, and I just feel bad for him because it just sucks. It sucks for Ian, it sucks for Rob, and it sucks that the people that are really good at this kind of stuff don't even get a chance to actually play it. I'm just kind of disappointed, but I'm not turning it off because I love the show.
Right. It's just one aspect of the game. It's not even a vote. It's not even, you can do what you can do to, stay out of the target, but sometimes you can't do anything. Candace, when Rob doesn't walk in, Candace acts publicly like she's very upset, but she celebrates privately. And in the breakfast room, she toasts him by saying he was very kind and smart and in tune with everyone.
I'm not a fan of this toast thing.
No,
I really feel like this is
idea.
becoming. I think this is becoming a thing though, because they did it on at least one or two of the UK episodes so far, where it's like, raise a toast to this person. Like, I think that if Traitors is still around 3 or 4 years from now, it's going to be, and now was the toast to the departed, to the murdered. Right. And I was like, oh God, no, let's not do this every time. I don't want it. Throw the picture frame on the floor and get on with the thing. I don't need a big memorialization of whomever went.
So Rob R tells us there was only room for one Rob in the castle as the R disappears from his name on our screen.
That was good.
Yes.
That was good. That was a good.
And what's even funnier is that Rob R, I guarantee, has no idea that it's an ongoing joke that people made about Boston Rob having voted Rob Sesternino out of Survivor All Stars all those years ago. Is like there could only be one Rob.
I didn't know that, I'd forgotten it. So okay, very.
And then Boston Rob did the same thing last season. He voted out Bob. He voted out another Rob or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it was funny that he did that without realizing there was actually a connection there. So Jam immediately notes the traitors are going after the gamers. And then Michael asks if he lied when he was on the show and says, you have to lie and cheat on the show. And then Michael looks at Jam and says, he didn't realize a traitor could have a shield. And at first I'm thinking this is another example of him pretending to not understand, but I think it's just him calling Jam Jam a traitor straight out and trying to be sarcastic about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they go back and forth with Michael being an ass, Jam Jam trying to get him to stop already, saying things like, if you come at me at 100, you're going to get 100. But if you take it down to 10, I'll go down to 10. And they trade accusations of being a traitor. And Michael says, Jam Jam is full of thick traitor doo-doo, which of all the things he said, all the times he swore, now he says doo-doo. Like, did the producers call him in and say, can you swear just a little bit less? I don't know. And, to nobody's surprise, in confessional, he tells us he's a big crap talker. Yeah, we know. And also several others are tired of it. So now there was some confusion, I will say. I saw this online. When Michael says something about he won, it was unclear. I was sure he was talking about Jam Jam. Other people thought he was talking about Rob after he had just gone, and possibly confusing him with Boston Rob. And so they were saying like that Michael was justifying, oh yeah, he won, that's why he's gone. But I think he was talking about Jam Jam. So I'm not 100% sure on that.
I seem to have partially blanked out during this specific portion. I do remember hearing saying that he was a winner, right? Isn't that what he said? Or yeah.
But I think he was talking about Jam Jam.
Okay.
I'm not 100%. So
yep. Well, I'm less than 100.
Yeah. Alan comes in and says Rob was burned right under their noses, which, none of them realize it was a murder in plain sight. And he reuses a line again. He has used this line at least 3 times that I remember, once in each season. Well, I guess this is the 4th season. But at least once in 3 of the seasons, he says, a survivor no more, and smashes Rob's portrait. He then tells them there will be a round table before the mission, which makes me think I know what the mission will be because of UK. But we'll wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
The players are, of course, very surprised by this. So after breakfast, they break up into groups. Tiffany and Michael go off to talk in the secret wine cellar. She tells him that she thinks he's onto something with Jam Jam, but he needs to chill out. Michael says this isn't a sympathy or a popularity contest. It's to hunt traitors. And again, and you say you're a fan of the game? Because, I'm sorry, popularity definitely comes into play, just like it does in any other show.
Yep.
And he is not winning any popularity contests.
Tiffany's really going out on a limb to hitch her wagon to him. It's like,
yes,
that's risky, man. It's going to be seen as very, even when and if Michael gets, let's say he gets banished and he's revealed as a faithful. Again, this could change, but
right.
And he goes, I'm a faithful. And then they turn and look at Tiffany and said, you were all buddy with him and you knew he was a wreck. Why were you must be a traitor. I think Colton he gets into this. Colton is now turning his Eye of Sauron on Tiffany coming ahead. It'll come in more later on. But that's, I do think that's the result of her getting so tight in with Michael. Right. I understand part of her logic, but I think it's super, super risky to do.
I mean, she's using, and she gets into this later, she's using a traitor's angel strategy.
Right.
And she believes he's a traitor, but she wants to be the angel who is protected. But with Michael, he is such an out there personality that you're not so much shielded as caught in the crossfire, probably.
It's not going to go. That's the thing. I just don't think it's like you're not, even if he is a traitor, that doesn't mean he's going to protect you. Right. Because he's not playing. I don't think he's playing that. I don't think he would be playing that way.
Right. Well, meanwhile, other people are talking about Michael, and some are talking about Donna as well, focusing on her. And if she's a traitor, then obviously Ron is as well. As people are talking about Donna, she walks in and they very conspicuously try to shush, which she hears. Like when someone walks in a room, if you say shh, they heard that. So it's not helpful. She brings up that traitors often try to get shields, just like Michael made a big deal about, and Rob voted for Michael. So with that, we pretty much head to the round table. Michael again tells us the name of the game is to get traitors. And as we say many times on this podcast, no, it's not. And he should know that. The name of the game is to survive to the end. The name of, the storyline is to get traitors, but he's pushing it as if that's the real strategy. He's clearly bought into it. So at the round table, Candace opens by saying she talked to pretty much all of them yesterday about what the consensus would be. Now, as soon as she says this, before I even get into the rest, this should be an immediate red flag for everyone. Like, if there's one person who is so controlling the vote that she has talked to everyone to come to consensus, you need to be looking at them as a traitor. And even if you didn't realize it, she just admitted it. But no one seems to pick up on it as far as we can tell, at least not yet.
Right.
And so she continues that Ron changed their direction. He says he was consistent, but they didn't include him in their discussions. So he didn't know and they didn't hear from him. And I have to say, this is a problem when people bring a surprise to the roundtable. I've said this many times before. It may work, but it may also backfire, or in this case, it may be both. That if you don't bring something up till the roundtable, sometimes it won't work at all. Sometimes it'll blow up in your face. Right. Sometimes it'll work, but then people will look at you like, why didn't you tell us about this? Mm-hmm. And I understand he didn't want word to get back, but tell a few more people than just 3.
Yeah. Why don't you trust me? Why didn't you trust to share with me? Why?
Right.
That's been said by people at the round table before. It's like, well, apparently you decided to tell, Bob and Sally, but you didn't tell me or them what's going on. Why didn't you why didn't you bring me into your trust group? It's a interesting conundrum.
Yeah. So Colton asks for Donna to speak up. She says if the only reason people are after her is she didn't have a chance to talk to each of them, well, that's because she's fangirling on them. Yep. Candace says Donna would be a good traitor because she's unassuming and nice and sweet. And Donna says, well, that's just who I am. Jam Jam tries to encourage her to say more in her own defense. So she says people should think about who is pushing her name the most in the narrative. Tiffany asks if there's someone she suspects is a traitor. Yes. And Donna brings up the point that I was making earlier and make frequently. She says she doesn't think Michael is as ignorant about the rules as he says he is, and he's just playing a role. And he just keeps distracting the conversations at roundtable. He, of course, repeats that he's a faithful and will say it again if he gets banished. Jam Jam calmly says there are things faithfuls do, and Michael hasn't done it. Like, say who he believes the traitors are. Michael, of course, says he thinks Jam Jam is the traitor. Colton asks him why he voted the way he did last time. And he says he thinks the traitor is the deflector, the defender. And Jam Jam and others immediately jump in and say, well, that's you. Plus he keeps throwing out different names. This he denies. Colton points out he's going after people who go after him. He denies it again. Then he tells Jam Jam to join in as he sings, if you're a traitor and you know it, clap your hands. If you're a traitor and you know it, clap your hands. I won't sing the whole song. Jam Jam's like, is that the song you... Yeah. Jam Jam says, is that the song you sing in the turret? While other people are just, again, like, oh my God, he's being distracting again.
That's what my note says. My note says, Michael is a bad faithful. He's annoying and distracting. I just was like, how much longer are they going to put up with this from him? I didn't think they were going to put up with him past this roundtable. I thought for sure that this was going to be Michael.
Yeah. And with that, it's time to vote. And it's not Michael.
No, it wasn't.
Colton votes for Donna. Donna votes for Michael, again, saying he knows more about the game than he's letting on. Which, by the way, I still believe that's true. It turns out, as we'll find out, he's not a traitor. But I do think he is playing a role here to try and make himself look like less of a threat. But then he's completely overshadowing it with the way he behaves. So, Eric, Donna, Monet, Donna, Candace, Donna, Johnny, Donna, Kristen, Donna, Tiffany, Donna, Jam Jam, Donna, which surprised me. I thought he would, stick with Michael.
Yeah.
He acknowledges, though, that it's not his first choice. Dorinda, Donna, and, says they have to make this decision tonight so they can move forward. Michael sticks with Jam Jam. Everyone else votes Donna. So Donna steps up to the circle of truth and says, "I know I'm the sacrificial lamb," and da da da. And I'm like, okay, yeah, she's about
That
to say
got me.
she's a traitor.
That got me. I was like,
Yep.
oh, okay.
And then she starts to say, "Okay, I just have to leave," and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. She wouldn't say that without announcing, and then she turns around and says, "You got yourself a traitor."
Yes. And the emotion by everybody was genuine.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, but you knew that even the traders were excited. So that
Right.
is a bonus to them. Is it like, oh my gosh, we got, and of course, the rest of the faithful don't know that there was a secret trader. So
Right.
Yes.
So, yes, obviously, as I said before, the fact that Donna was the traitor means Michael isn't, and that rationale I mentioned earlier, doesn't matter. But it's amusing to me that she used that same idea to implicate him. So clearly, Donna Kelsey, a frequent listener of this podcast. That's what I'm going with.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'll go with that.
Yeah. Which means Taylor Swift has probably also heard it too. So
of course, yes.
Yeah.
And you love the Swifties.
Yes.
And you wouldn't have voted her out.
No. It is interesting because there were a lot of people, Swifties within the community saying, "Oh, I hope Rob doesn't vote out Donna," and everything. And it turns out it was the opposite. And now it's like, ooh, you're going to have to make a choice between Rob and Taylor Swift. So sorry, it's just the way the world works.
The vote, I just thought, Michael, I don't understand. Yes. The vote to me didn't jibe with what we were seeing in the edit.
I mean,
that they all knew that because you know this, you write down the name before you know how anybody else has voted. So they all made that choice that, yep, we're all doing Donna. And even though, was it Jam Jam that said it's not my first choice? I was like, yeah, but what in that vibe at the table right then told you, oh, this is the way we're all going Donna? There could have been nods and winks. I don't know. I just was so shocked with the landslide, but it is one of those, you just got to jump on the bandwagon. So you're not, why didn't you vote for?
Right.
So.
I think it's two things. I think one, there was a lot more roundtable discussion that got people pointed in that direction, the consensus that Candace talked about earlier. And two, there was probably some stuff edited. Well, there was definitely stuff edited out of the roundtable. We know that.
Can I ask you a quick question that you would know more than, because I meant to ask Rachel last night in my brief time talking to her, and I didn't. How long are the roundtables versus what we see? And I know I could probably look this up somewhere, but I haven't yet. I'm kind of curious on.
I don't remember, but they're definitely longer. They're definitely significantly longer. They're not like as long as a tribal council. They're not 2 hours long or anything like that. But, probably they're much, much longer. I just don't remember off the top of my head how.
And this is just take a step aside. As I was talking to someone last night, I'm not saying anything, again, that most people don't know, but this is tribal council. This is what I would say is the best part of Survivor. And except for they've turned it into a 20-minute, thing. It's like, it's not, Survivor's tribal councils usually aren't that long on the TV show. And yet this is what we get to watch. And this is my favorite part of the trade. When Traitors first started, I would skip the challenges. I didn't care. They started introducing the shields, and it's like, okay, even introducing the shields wasn't that interesting. They've now managed to work that mechanic so that it is a little bit more interesting. But I still am all about the round table. That's what I want to get to. It's like, give me to the round table. I want to see the round table because I know that is the most raw, actual stuff that was going on. It's not as edited. So
and unlike Survivor, on Survivor, the decisions made 95% of the time before they get to tribal council. Whatever they may say, however many times Jeff may say, "Ooh, it's a live tribal." No, it's not.
Yeah.
Whereas at the round table, this was probably the most solidified coming in, I would think.
Yeah.
Whereas normally, yes, things can and do change because people do what Ron did. They wait till the round table to bring stuff up, and then someone makes a slip. Like, I really think if they didn't have the Porsche evidence, Michael might have gone the first week because of
I
his
agree.
slip.
I agree completely.
So
I also wonder if they said, okay, look, I want to vote Donna, but we need everyone to do it so the Swifties can't
yeah,
attack anyone in
yes,
particular.
yes.
They have to go after all of us.
Oh, they'll
That's
do
one of
it.
my.
There's a lot. There's enough of them. They
I
can do
know.
it. Um, so before they leave, Alan tells them to pair up with the person they trust most. But they have an odd number, so one will go without a partner and it will be bad.
Mhm.
So after the round table, they do a little bit of talking, not much. The main thing is Ron worries that people will think he's a traitor since he was so solidly with Donna at first. And indeed, we heard people saying if we vote out Donna and she's a traitor, we have to go after Ron next.
Right.
And then as people are talking about partners for the mission, no one wants to partner with him.
Mm-mm. Nope. There was a moment where I don't. We're going to talk about where Michael seemed to be offering. This is a moment that I saw Michael as not. He comes across as so selfish.
Mm-hmm.
But he'd paired up with Tiffany, and he looked at Ron and said, "You're going to be alone." He said, "Do you want to?" I thought he was implying, "Do you want to pair up with Tiffany and I'll be alone?" I thought Michael was offering
Me
himself up
too.
to be the only,
Yeah,
and I
I
thought
thought so.
there's the Michael that I think he's been trying to show himself as back when the shields were being argued over. I think he was trying to say, look, let's be fair and equitable and get everybody gets a chance. And I think that was his moment to say, look, I have the advantage right now because I am going to have a pair, but I don't know if I'm as much risk as you are, Ron. So I will take the risk and you can
Mm-hmm.
be safe. So to as much as, and I know most people, and I'm not saying most people have lots of issues with Michael, but from just
Yeah.
a pure gameplay perspective and a pure just take everything aside, at that moment, Michael was showing that he was willing to try to save somebody or help somebody else out.
Mm-hmm.
So, for what it's worth, I
Yeah,
still
I mean
think he
now,
needs to be gone. But
yeah, the interesting thing, of course, is that neither of them are in any danger from the traitors because they're
no,
both suspicious.
right,
So,
yes.
yeah,
And why would you
six of
get rid
one.
of either of them? Let
Right.
them save them for another
Yeah.
round table.
So as everyone heads off to the mission, Tiffany tells us she thinks Michael is a traitor, but as long as he thinks she's his buddy, he'll keep her safe. So as I mentioned earlier, the traitor's angel strategy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, and it is indeed the mission I expected, just initiated in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Each duo has to decide who will go into a cage. Anyone still in a cage at the end will be shortlisted for murder. Ron, since he has no partner, is automatically on it. But as I just mentioned, I think he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Michael volunteers to go into the cage. So does Eric. Of the others, after discussions, Jam, Natalie, Kristen, Candace, Maura, Caroline, and Lisa end up in there as well. Meanwhile, all the safe players have to search the marsh for animal skulls and then stack 10 of them. If they do, their partner is safe. And they have 10 minutes. Each person they save adds $5,000 to the prize pot for the person freed. Now, without giving away spoilers, a little bit of difference between the UK one. The UK one, they didn't voluntarily partner the way they did. There was a short list where 9 of them were put on it. And then other people volunteered to go with each
It
of
was a
those. They still
playground
left,
pick of I'm
yeah,
picking. I'm going to go stand with you. I'm going to go stand with
right,
you. I'm going to go stand with you.
right.
Yeah.
Still left one person out
Right.
as an odd number. Still had to stack 10 skulls, but there was also a limit of only, I think, 5 of them could be
There was no
saved.
timer. There was no timer, so it was just the first 5 that were. I think it was
Okay, that's
5. The
right.
first
That's right.
5 that were free. The others that were left were the ones that were on the short list. But so there was no timer, which played in a little bit differently on that show because
Yes.
you didn't have to rush around. There was a lot more rushing in this one, it seemed, than in the
Right.
in the UK.
Unless you're Johnny Weir.
Well, yes.
But it's interesting because I know it's not going to happen, but theoretically, that means Ron could have been automatically murdered if everyone else had been super quick.
Which is where the 10-minute. That's why I was kind of like, I'm watching them talk about. I'm like, okay, there was no time because I'm not. There was no time limit in the UK, but he's not. I was waiting. I was like, tell me how many. What's the number? And he never
Yeah.
said a number. And I'm like, there's no number. There's no 10 minutes. I'm like, well, clearly they're not going to get all of them out with it. They had, but that was a risk they were taking.
Right.
It
Right.
could have been.
It could have been an automatic murder for Ron.
I
That would
wonder,
have been the end of it.
but what if there weren't enough skulls? Maybe that's why. Maybe
Maybe
that's
that's why
why somebody
Johnny.
didn't get them all. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Maybe
guess
there
it's
weren't enough,
possible.
and it could have been
Yeah.
down to two. But even two
Right.
would be an awful small,
Right.
especially potentially. It could have been two traitors, right? There was two traitors in the cage.
Yeah.
So that was the other. I was taking notes on who's in the cage and who's not going to be, because two of the traitors were in cages, so they were automatically safe. So the list of potential was.
Yeah. I guess if they had seen that one of the traitors was on their own, I guess they could have shortened up the number of skulls on their way over there and been like, okay, pull this many skulls so that we have at least X number so that we can't end up with all traitors.
Yeah.
So, all right. So as we go through here, Rob finishes first, so Maura is free. Steven saves Jam Jam. Over halfway through, Johnny isn't back yet, let alone trying to stack. Monet finishes, so Natalie is safe. Tiffany saves Michael. Tara frees Candace with literally no time remaining.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark misses it by seconds. So Kristen is in danger. And meanwhile, Johnny never did make it back. Like, he had no clue. He finally comes back, and they're like, it's over, dude.
Yeah, I don't get why. And again, in the UK version, again, not spoiling anything specific, just generalize. They would run out and grab some and come back and run out and grab until they had the amount. Whereas they felt like they had to carry 10 back at one time. Why? I'm not there. And maybe the distance was greater than I realized and they thought, but
maybe they knew, maybe part of the instructions that we didn't hear was
have to bring on, right.
There are not enough for all of you.
Oh, that too.
You know, that could have been that, but
so get them all at once or else you may not have them.
Right.
Yep. That could have been it too. Yep.
So they earned $25,000 for the pot. But Caroline, Eric, Kristen, Lisa, and Ron are in danger. Well, obviously not really Lisa. Right. They will be pulled from the cages and tied to a tree.
Yeah.
And then the traitors will murder one of them face to face. On the ride back, Colton brings up Tiffany and Michael, that it was an odd pairing. You mentioned this earlier, and Tiffany seemed to be in control since Michael was in the cage. Of course, what they don't know is Michael volunteered, so it's not so much she was in control, but is she sort of controlling him? Yes. Just not for that reason.
Right.
After the mission, it is dinner and chat time. So that means people don't, the five people in the cages don't even get dinner. You're screwed. Go hungry. Colton asks Tiffany if she's off of Michael. And she says no, but she's more on Ron because there are so many questions there. And she also says targeting gamers makes sense if you're another gamer. And she thinks Jam Jam has been doing it. And there seems to be some generalized support for that. She believes the starting 4 traitors were Donna, Jam Jam, Ron, and Michael. So one. She got one, and it was the one that they already knew.
They already knew, yeah.
But then Colton tells us he thinks Tiffany is the one who's been calling the shots and would be the gamer who is in the position she described. So she, by explaining it, triggers this thought in Colton's mind, like, hey, that's a really good idea, except I think that's you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it's bedtime and time for the shortlisted players to be blindfolded and tied to trees. Except while they were doing that, they sneak Lisa out of there so she can join the other traitors in the turret, which probably explains why they didn't just leave them in cages like they did in the UK.
Sure. Yeah. And I wasn't sure. So this is where we've reached the point where I think I've made it through. I have not seen the result of this event on the UK side. I'm behind on that. So I do not know how this played out on the UK side yet.
Okay.
That's my watch later today. You're not going to spoil it, I know.
No,
but I did the tying to the tree. That was, I mean, honestly, it's very cinematic, very dramatic.
Right.
And it was like the production, it's the same production company, I think.
Yes.
It's the same. But the production values for this seem a little bit higher than the UK side. It's just like, those shots on the tree were just very, very cinematic.
I mean, they split costs, and it is the same production company, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the one in the UK is BBC,
Yes. Yeah. 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 It is.
and BBC is a government,
Right.
a
Yes.
government television studio.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Matthew and I have talked about this before in terms of why is this prize so low? Why is it this? Why is it that?
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
because if they were to do something that pissed off the public, they get in trouble.
Right.
Whereas this is Peacock's money. This is NBC money.
Right.
They can
And
throw it around however they want.
and the UK is a little bit smaller in population
Right.
than the US, so
Right.
they're dealing with a larger audience. But yeah, it's fine. It was fine. But I was impressed with the dramatic, to me, in my memory. This is the very, very dramatic shots, very long shots
Yes.
of all of this. I thought it was really good. I thought, wow,
Yeah.
this is cinema right here.
And the other thing is, when you mentioned UK, though, I mean, I think they're getting more viewers there. They had, I think, for
yeah.
episode 4, I think I saw they had over 7 million viewers.
Yeah,
I don't think
it
this
is
gets 7
huge.
million viewers on Peacock.
No, it's strange. It is.
So yeah, I mean, it is a huge show, whereas Survivor has failed in the UK multiple times.
Yeah.
And does great here. I mean, for God's sakes, we're about to go into the 50th season. Traitors is a hit in both.
Yeah.
Though different types. I mean, obviously it's the celebrity one here, and we will see coming sometime this year, I believe, how an all civilian version does in the US. Hopefully it'll do well. Hopefully people will like it, and it won't just be a bunch of housewife people tuning in and going, there's not a single housewife here. This isn't enough drama. Why am I watching this?
Yes.
So
I didn't mean to cut you off. You were finishing up the whole.
Oh, that's okay.
That was
so the Traitors come back out. They talk a bit to make their decision. They come back out to the trees, and they pause at each person, and they beg for mercy. Eric says, I have a specific set of skills, and if they kill him, his spirit will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Kristen says, I don't beg, and they already made up their minds, which was the most honest.
That is the one that I noted too. Yep, that's the truth. This is all just for show. You've already decided who's going, so just get on with it.
Caroline says she's not ready to die tonight. Ron says, if they don't kill him now, they'll regret it.
He hammed it up good.
Yes.
That was good. That was a good dramatic. Well, just get it. Just do it. It's like, okay, fine. I have to respect on this celebrity version.
Yes,
I can respect those moments. If they were regular season, the person did that, I go, just get rid of them. I don't need that much hamming it up. I'm fine with it on this show. I wouldn't want it on the civilian version.
Right. And with that, we end. So, in the next time clip in the preview, it's mostly clips without context, so I don't really see anything of interest that can tell us anything that we don't already know. Like, hey, guess what? Jam Jam and Michael are fighting. No way. So yeah, I didn't see anything there. But
I'm not a preview person. I think you've mentioned that before. So I don't like previews of movies. I don't like previews. I was like, no, don't show me. Don't even give me the slightest hint of what might be happening, because I don't want that in my head ahead of time.
Well, yeah, and there have been instances where it was essentially spoiled by the preview, because they're I tell my son that he's like, have you seen the preview or the video clip of this new movie that's coming out? I'm like, no, I haven't, and I don't want to.
You go to Paramount, watch seasons of, and I'm sure it was Survivor too. But you see the preview, the thumbnail. Well, there's that person. It's like, why I can't go to Paramount and watch. I know who the final 3 are because they're down there in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen. So I just hate anything that just give me a logo and an episode, or I don't need the previews. I understand why they do it and all that. And at least as soon as it went to preview, I'm like, okay, I'm done watching. So, yeah.
So as of this moment, for a prediction, who do you think will be murdered, and then who will be banished?
Oh, I didn't even think about banished. I only thought about murdered. I didn't even think that. I have Caroline, Eric, Kristen, and Ron. I think Ron is so obvious a one that they're just not going to do it. And I'm looking at Caroline, Eric, and Kristen. I part of me was like, which one of them have gotten very much screen time? I'm really
Right.
looking. I'm trying to examine it from the editing perspective
Yeah.
because they edit it. You take you take the most exciting dynamic characters that get thrown out early, and you give them a lot of screen time because you only have them for like 3 episodes.
Hmm.
So which of those 3 people have they wrung out as much as they could get out of them? And Kristen, I barely seen her. Eric was seeing a little bit more. Eric and Caroline probably the same. So I'm going to guess it's one of those two. And since they haven't actually to go back because I have asterisk by it. They asked. Lisa said it's their duty to protect the secret traitor at one point. And I was like, what are you doing? But Lisa also said she's willing to get rid of a housewife. So
Hmm.
she implied that she was. Um, and Candace, well, it's Candace talking about the secret traitor, but I just feel like Lisa is willing to get rid of a housewife. I think if they're smart, they need to get rid of a housewife to take suspicion off the fact that there's 2 housewives.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say Caroline if I have to pick one. As
Okay.
far as banishing, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the obvious choices for me would be Tiffany, uh, Michael, or Ron.
Hmm.
Um, I'm almost hopeful though that they get a traitor, and then they have to recruit. That I mean, because I want Michael to become a traitor, um, just because that'll just throw such a wrench
Yeah.
in the whole works and I know it'll drive people crazy, but I don't care. I'm like I'll take the TV and the fact seeing him as a traitor, I think could be interesting, and then he would just go out in a flame. He's gonna flame out, and it should
Yeah.
be fun when he does. I don't think he's gonna make it to the end. So let's see him as a traitor too, just to see him blow up his
Yeah.
game. That's my thought. What
Okay.
do you think?
So I'm thinking the opposite of you for murder. I still think
Okay,
they will protect the housewives.
okay,
Uh, or the housewife. So I'm narrowing it down to Kristen or Eric.
uh-huh,
And I just think it's Eric. I don't know. I mean, we've
yeah,
seen a little of him. I just think he hasn't contributed a whole lot. I mean,
no.
not that Kristen has contributed much. Although, as a chef, she didn't know how to spread butter with a
Oh,
knife.
did you? That's what I noticed
Yeah,
too. I'm like, she's
yeah.
spreading butter with a knife. What is it?
It was like
They
a
showed
carving
that.
knife or
It was
something.
a
I don't know what it
carving
was.
knife, and she's
Yeah.
spreading. It was like, could she not find a
Or
butter
it
knife
might have been a
somewhere?
bread knife, actually. But
You're right.
yeah,
I think
that's
it was a bread knife, and she's just like
yeah,
she cut the bread, and then she's like, "Well, it's here. I'll just use."
yeah,
Yes. Sorry, we both noticed the same thing.
yeah,
We noticed the water. We know those are the little moments that they don't
yeah.
talk about, but you see them there. It's like, what? Yeah,
And then
yeah.
for banishment, I think the easy pick is Ron. I think they're just going to go with Ron. Enough people have been talking about it that I think that's how they're going.
Have we seen the moment that they showed in the previews where Ron says something? I don't know what it was. He was just a very dry delivery about catering or about the food or something. That there was some moment in the
Hmm.
previews that they showed Ron sitting in the chair talking, and I don't recall seeing that moment yet on the show.
Well, he says,
So
"I'm just here for the snacks."
yeah,
I think
do you
that was
think
just a pre. That
preview
was just a
only? Okay,
pre-show,
all right.
thing.
Because I thought I was expecting to see that at some point, and
Oh,
since I haven't seen it yet, I'm thinking,
yeah,
well, maybe that means he says that later on in some other discussion, but maybe not.
yeah.
Maybe
And
he's
that's
right. Maybe
another
it's
thing. Yeah, like I mean, when they show all these scenes from before,
yeah.
it occurred to me, although I thought we'd get rid of Michael, it occurred to me, I'm pretty sure there's some stuff that he has said in the previews that I had not seen yet.
Okay. Yeah.
We may have caught up to all of them. I'm not sure, but yeah, it happened last season with Danielle. Danielle, there was a very notable scene with Danielle in a particular hat.
Yeah.
We had never seen Danielle in that hat. So every roundtable, people knew, well, Danielle's going to survive it. Danielle's going
Yep.
to survive it because we
Yep.
haven't seen her in that hat yet.
Right. There was actually going back to season one, I think of US. They teased, they had a tease like a preview very early on where they showed people in the helicopter. Remember they do the dramatic
Yeah.
flyover and I'm like, well, they're in the helicopter. That's at the very end because I'd
Yeah.
seen the UK version. I knew they did
Right.
the same scene. It's like, so they just showed people in a helicopter. That's from the very end. So I know all of these people make the end. That's why I don't watch the
Yes.
don't show me that stuff.
Yeah.
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 It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next ones, but we're down to ones now, right? Now it's one a week.
No, it's two next week.
Up to next.
Yeah, it goes three,
Okay.
two, one, 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 one.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Yes, I know. Yeah, you
Good.
tell me about it.
I got the three. I got the
Yeah.
UK. I got the US.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I am very. You're doing the hard work. I'm doing the fan work. This is for me. Unless I come back to do this or do some other. I'm only doing. I'm just watching as a fan. So I just
Right.
shut off my socials and I watch it when I can and try to avoid spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, final thoughts here. Did you think that Donna was a good choice as the secret trader?
I did. I really did. Um, but because I would have loved to seen her enter the turret, which we
Yeah.
won't get to see. And you know again UK version, we get to see the secret trader eventually. No spoilers, but that does, and there is that reveal where the secret trader walks into the turret with their red cape on, and it was kind of a
Mhm.
cool moment. I was kind of annoyed with the secret trader bit, and then in the end I was kind of like, no, this is kind of cool and fun, and this really ended so quickly. I was
Yeah.
fine with Donna. I wish she'd lasted a little bit longer. Um, but the people
I,
were afraid of the Swifties. So
well, I think that that's part of the problem is she was somewhat doomed by not being a part of a larger group.
yeah,
They picked a
one of the
small
click groups that you mean, like the gamers.
gamer.
Is that what
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think she was listed on their website as the wild card, one of the wild cards, like
right.
her and Ron and
Yeah.
Michael or Eric, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, that put her at a disadvantage. The age gap put her at a disadvantage.
It always does.
And, so at least like on the current UK
Hmm.
non-celebrity version,
Hmm.
there's a wide range of ages there.
Oh yeah, they do that. That's US versus UK everything. It's
Right.
like
Right.
it's like there's a 70-year-old and there's a couple of 60-some-year-olds.
Yeah.
I just that's UK reality TV versus US. It's just
Right.
they want young kids on these shows. I say that as a former young kid, but I get it and I don't. It's like, no, you can show the older folks playing too.
Yeah, and some of those older folks in the UK have become huge celebrities themselves now.
Hmm.
They are
Hmm.
some of the, to steal Lisa's word, most iconic players from UK traders.
Yes. Who? Let me ask you this. So unless you had another question, but so if it couldn't have been Donna, or if it wasn't Donna, who do you think would have been a better secret trader?
I mean, almost anybody, I feel like.
Yeah. So
Um,
you weren't happy with the choice. You
I
wanted it to be
wasn't
somebody
happy with
else.
the
Yep.
choice, especially since she put Rob on the murder shortlist. So I'm still
Well,
mad at her for that. And
there is that. Yes.
but
Yep.
I know Rob made the decision, but Rob R made the decision. But
Right.
um, and her reasoning was just it was like, oh, they're quiet people. Well, so are you.
Yeah.
So in a way, that makes her look suspicious. If this had continued, and she didn't
Hmm.
know how long it was going to continue,
Yeah.
if it had continued and all the quiet people were getting knocked out, they would have been like, why hasn't Donna gotten knocked out then?
Okay. So let me ask you this. What do you think about the difference? I know you're going to talk about. I mean, I shouldn't. You're going to talk about your shows, but there's a difference between the way the UK set up the secret trader versus the way the US did, and that's not a
Yeah.
spoiler. I mean, it's just the fact that the UK secret trader knew the identity of the traders,
Right.
whereas Donna did not know the identity of hers.
I
I think that was a huge disadvantage to her, um, and a huge advantage to the UK version. Which way is better,
so
or
I
is there a
like, and
better way?
again, yeah, we'll talk about this more at length in that
Yes.
special podcast coming
No
up.
one's
But yeah,
going to just
I
not
like
listen to that. They still will listen
yeah,
to you two talk about that. I'm 100% sure.
I like this better. I think
Yeah.
it takes away some of the power of the secret trader, which is good. Um, and yeah, because otherwise you put the secret trader in a position where if they want to, I won't say if it happened or not in the UK, but if they want to, they can totally screw over the other traders.
Yes. Yes.
And so I like this better with neither of them knowing. So they're, on their own and, let them
Now,
figure it out.
okay, so let's real quick, let's think about this. They were provided the tarot cards with a short list with four
Yes.
names. What if she had said Rob R, Lisa, and Candace and Rob C, just to throw out this.
And that would
I
have been
mean,
it.
they
Yeah.
would, but I that's but They had to, were they taking a risk, or do you think if she had done that, they would give us 6 cards? I don't know. I mean, what
I
would
think
be,
they were taking the risk. The odds were so low
of
that she would
course,
pick. But
yes,
I mean, sometimes it happens. We've talked about stuff before where, like on Survivor, sometimes you do a tribe swap, and it ends up being like this whole tribe moves over here, but one person. And
yeah,
then Christian Hubicki, who is
yeah,
a robotic scientist, will do the calculations and be like, there was a 0.3% chance of that swap
yes,
happening exactly that way.
yeah.
So yes, it does happen, but I think it's a
Sometimes on
risk
Big
worth
Brother,
taking.
you'll make a puzzle that anybody should be
Right.
able to solve in 10 seconds, and they can't.
Like a 4-piece puzzle that anyone, yeah, a 4-year-old could do.
Who saw that happening?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I mean, yeah, that's a perfect example
Yeah.
for those who don't know, what Mike is talking about. It was so unexpected that this person would not be able to solve this puzzle that they didn't even prepare a chair for her on stage for being evicted, because it was either solve this puzzle or be evicted.
Yes.
And she failed in this super simple puzzle. And so all of production was so shocked
Yep.
that they had to rush a chair on stage because they weren't ready for her to come out.
Yep. Yes. If
So,
anything can go wrong, it will.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why I thought it's like you say the odds are slim, and it's like she could have.
Yeah.
And I would have been fine with it. I am fine with when things don't go the way you want them to.
Right.
But yeah, it would have been. I just when you just said it was like, wait a minute, there was only 4 people in those tarot cards. It could have happened. And just
Yeah.
like the cages, it could have happened that it was down to just Ron, and it was like, well, Ron, you've been murdered.
Yeah.
Bye. So yeah.
So, with that, so yeah, as I mentioned, I want to remind people we will be having that special podcast. But other than that, Mike, where can people find you online?
So, um, I am mainly on Bluesky. My handle is BB Gossip. So almost any social you can find, with the exception of Tumblr, which someone from the UK has the BB Gossip handle from Tumblr that they've had since the aughts, and they aren't using it, but
No.
there's no me getting it. So I have the BB Gossip handle on Twitter, Blue Sky, you name the thing, I have it. Instagram, I don't use most of them. I just grab them. I'm on BCC chat, whatever. I have it. I
Yes.
don't use it. Um, but I'm on Blue Sky. That's enough for me. One. If you want to talk to me, come find me. You can also email if anyone wants to email. I love reality at gmail.com. I used to own a website called I Love Reality. And so that was so I got that email address. You can write an email. Um, Again, the BB Gossip is my main thing. I do a podcast, my own. If you search for Mike's Big Brother Gossip podcast, or you'll find it on it's on all of them: iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify. It's out there, YouTube, and that's it. But those I do very sporadically, except for when Big Brother's on. When Big Brother's on, I did one today where I summarized my adventures last night in Chicago at that event, but it's only like 12 minutes. So,
Well, I
yeah.
was going to ask you if there were any stories you wanted to tell specifically, but I don't want to detract from people going to your
Oh no, I
podcast.
don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. No, it was a very cool. Let me grab. I know this is not on just video, but for those of you that are on the video, so I got a Johnny Fairplay card, and I have a Rachel Riley. She brought those. It was just a very cool event. I would encourage anyone, and I'm sure you talk about these things. My first actual live event that I went to in person was 2 years ago, when I went to the Rob Has a Podcast in Chicago, and
Mhm.
we aren't sure if we talked. I know I was near you. I knew we were in
I
the
think we
vicinity of each
did.
other.
I think we
I
did.
wouldn't be
I'm
I wouldn't
pretty
be surprised
sure.
if I said something or if you said something to me. But
Yeah.
it just going to these events. There's a lot of people that I've encouraged to go to them. As a matter of fact, I know that I remember being in New York for the Big Brother premiere a couple of years ago, and a couple of people came up to me and said, "I came to this because you said to, because you said you should." Um, you can go to these things by yourself. You do not have to go with a friend.
Right.
You will find people to talk to. These are all people that are passionate about whatever particular show it is. Everybody last night. I mean, there's 35 of us in a room. talking about Big Brother, or talking about Big Brother too, but talking about Sequester. I said who all was there. It wasn't just Rachel and Johnny Fairplay, because it was in the Chicago area. A couple of other people came by, like Matt Hoffman came by, and Jessica Milagros has been at these things. And then Keith from Big Brother 13 walks in, who I didn't expect to see at all, but he was on Big Brother with Rachel. So he came to see Rachel. And they're all just so good about their conversations and their talking. And if you've never gone to one of these things and met these people, as soon as you talk to them, why they were on the show they were on. It's like they've got the it factor, every one of them, and they are all just so gracious, and it's so cool to talk to them. So I just encourage everybody to do that kind of stuff. I didn't mean to go on a little tangent, but I always say that. It's such a fun. If you feel like you're on your own liking this stuff, no, man, go to one of these things if you're near a big city, and you know what's happening, and you will meet people that it'll be so cool to put a name in the face.
Unfortunately, not near a big city. So,
Well, you've made it to Chicago, though.
I made it to Chicago, yeah. Nice. And, if they have another one in Chicago that I can get to, then I will. But, I'll probably be at a Survivor-related one coming this coming season. They've got at least 3. A 4th is hopefully in the works, and we'll see which one I make it to. Yep. Other than that, I am, of course, all over social media and reality TV podcasting. Right now, I'm mostly here as I join Matthew to discuss the Traitors UK every 3rd episode, and for every episode of the Traitors US. Plus, as I mentioned, like a dozen times now, we will be doing that special crossover episode coming soon. So anyone who has questions or comments, send them in. If you have anything, even if it's not specifically about the Secret Traitor, and you want to talk about comparisons between UK so far and US so far of this season, send it in. And then I will also be doing a special Survivor 50 preseason podcast on RHAP soon. In addition, I'm, of course, doing my TikTok and YouTube videos, most of which right now are for the Traitors US or UK, plus some lead-ins for Survivor 50, some Beast games. I will be doing, as I have mentioned, special mini Why Blank Lost videos there as well for every player murdered and banished on the Traitors US. So you can find that where I'm at David Bloomberg TV on the video sites. You can find all my accounts at linktree/David Bloomberg, or find me directly on Bluesky as at David Bloomberg. You can also reach out to the Traidar in general on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we are at the Traidar Podcast. And you can email the Traidar Podcast at gmail.com, or you can even send in voice messages for us to play on the podcast at memo.fm/the Traidar Podcast. If you would like to help support the podcast, you could do it a couple of ways. You can buy merch, which you can find. I mean, they have shirts and mugs and things like that. You can find that at thetraidar.redbubble.com. Or if merch isn't your thing and you still want to help out, you can go to ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/Matthew Keeley, and you can make one-time donations. You can make recurring. It's not like Patreon where you have to sign up for something. And so, yeah. Mike, thank you so much for joining me for these 2 episodes. Neither of us got much sleep, to the point where I was calling people names that don't even exist. And I will be back here tomorrow for the Traitors UK episode 6, and then in a few days for the special podcast, and then next week for episodes 4 and 5 of the Traitors US and episode 9 of the UK. So keeping busy. Until then, everyone, stay traitorous.